Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive straight into something that probably keeps a lot of us up at night: money. But not just having money, but making good decisions with it. Have you ever felt like you're constantly chasing the next paycheck, stressed about bills, or maybe even making financial choices that you later regret? Pause for a beat, let the question sink in. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place, because today we're not just talking about budgeting tips or stock market tricks. We're going deep into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism and how it can completely transform the way you think about and handle your finances. Before we get started, if you're new here and resonate with the idea of finding calm and wisdom in a chaotic world, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We're building a community here focused on practical Stoicism, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. And if you're already on board, a quick like on this video really helps the channel grow and reach more people who could benefit from these ideas. Now, I want to ask you something right away. Think about your biggest financial worry right now. Is it debt? Saving for the future? Just managing day-to-day expenses? Seriously, take a second and think about it. Short pause. I want you to drop that worry in the comments below right now. Let's get a conversation going right from the start. No judgment, just share what's on your mind. I'll be reading through them, and it helps me tailor future content to what you are actually dealing with. Okay, with that said, let's get into the heart of today's video, the 7 Stoic questions that will transform your finances. These aren't just abstract philosophical ideas. These are practical questions rooted in Stoic principles that you can use today to make better, more intentional, and ultimately more virtuous financial decisions. Because in Stoicism, it's not just about having more, it's about being better, and that absolutely applies to how we handle our money. Question 1. What is truly necessary? Our first question is fundamental to Stoicism and incredibly powerful when applied to finances. What is truly necessary? Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. And when it comes to possessions and money, we often get caught up in desires and external validation, things that are largely outside of our control and certainly not essential for our inner peace. Think about your spending habits. How much of what you buy is truly necessary for your well-being, for your health, for your basic functioning? And how much is driven by desires, by keeping up with trends, or by emotional impulses? The Stoics weren't advocating for poverty, they weren't against comfort, but they were fiercely against dependence on external things for happiness. Seneca famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." So, for this first question, I want you to do a little exercise. For the next week, track your spending. And for every purchase, ask yourself honestly, is this truly necessary, or is this a want disguised as a need? I am genuinely curious about your findings. Share your biggest necessary VI want realization in the comments below after you've tried this for a few days. Let's learn from each other. Question 2. Is this action in accordance with virtue? Question number 2 takes us to the core of Stoic ethics. Is this action in accordance with virtue? For a Stoic, virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance is the only true good. Everything else, including wealth, is considered indifferent. This doesn't mean money is bad, but it's not inherently good or bad. It's how we use it that matters. When you're facing a financial decision, whether it's an investment, a purchase, or even how you earn your money, ask yourself, is this action aligned with virtue, wisdom? Is this a rational, well-considered decision, or am I acting impulsively? Justice. Is this fair to others? Am I being honest and ethical in my financial dealings? Courage. Does this decision require me to stand up for what's right, even if it's difficult or unpopular? Temperance. Am I being moderate and self-controlled in my financial desires and actions? This might sound abstract, but it becomes very practical when you apply it. For example, if you're tempted to make a quick buck through a morally questionable scheme, asking, is this virtuous, should give you pause. Or if you're considering donating to a cause you believe in, asking, is this virtuous, can reinforce your decision. What's an example of a financial decision you've made or are considering where applying the question of virtue would be helpful? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's explore how virtue can guide our financial lives. Question 3. What is the worst that could happen, and can I endure it? Question number 3 is about facing reality and managing fear. What is the worst that could happen, and can I endure it? Stoicism encourages us to practice negative visualization, not to be pessimistic, but to prepare ourselves mentally for potential setbacks. In finance, this is incredibly useful for managing risk and anxiety. Before making a significant financial decision, especially one that involves risk, take a moment to consider the downside. What's the absolute worst-case scenario? Could you lose money? Could you face hardship? Could you fail? Once you've identified the worst-case scenario, ask yourself, can I endure it? Do I have the inner resilience, the resources, the support to get through it if things go wrong? Often, when we face our fears head-on and realize we can endure the worst, the fear loses its power. This isn't about being reckless or inviting disaster. It's about making informed decisions with open eyes, understanding the potential downsides, and building mental fortitude. Have you ever used negative visualization in your financial life, or in other areas? How did it help you? Share your experiences in the comments. Let's learn from each other's resilience. Question 4. Am I driven by external validation or inner peace? Visuals. Transition to visuals, contrasting external validation, social media, luxury items, with inner peace, meditation, nature, simple joys. Question number 4 delves into our motivations. Am I driven by external validation or inner peace? So much of our financial behavior is driven by the desire for external validation, wanting to impress others, to keep up appearances, to feel accepted. Social media amplifies this, constantly showing us curated images of wealth and success. But Stoicism reminds us that true happiness and fulfillment come from within. They are not dependent on external opinions or possessions. Epictetus said, "It is not things themselves that disturb men, but their judgments about these things." When you're making a financial decision, especially one driven by a desire to impress others, pause and ask yourself, am I doing this for external validation or for my own inner peace? Will this purchase, this investment, truly bring me lasting contentment, or is it just a fleeting attempt to gain approval from others? Chasing external validation is a never-ending game. There will always be someone with more, someone who seems more successful. True freedom comes from detaching our self-worth from external things and finding contentment within. Can you think of a time you made a financial decision driven by external validation? What was the outcome, and how could you approach it differently now, focusing on inner peace? Share your reflections in the comments. Question 5. What would a wise person do? Question number 5 is about seeking guidance and wisdom. What would a wise person do? Stoicism emphasizes the importance of learning from wise individuals, both past and present. We have the writings of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus to guide us, and we can also seek out mentors and role models in our own lives. When faced with a complex financial decision, imagine you could ask a truly wise and virtuous person for advice. What would they tell you? What principles would they emphasize? How would they approach the situation? This isn't about blindly following someone else's advice, but about using wisdom as a filter for your own decisions. It's about considering different perspectives and grounding your choices in sound principles. Who is a wise person you admire, either from history or in your own life, and how do you think they would approach your current financial challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's tap into collective wisdom. Question 6. Am I focusing on what I can control? Question number 6 brings us back to a core Stoic principle. Am I focusing on what I can control? As we mentioned earlier, Stoicism is all about distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. In finance, there are many things outside of our control: market fluctuations, economic downturns, unexpected expenses. Worrying about these things is often futile and only increases our anxiety. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to focus our energy on what we can control: our spending habits, our saving strategies, our investment choices within our risk tolerance, our work ethic, our financial knowledge. When you feel overwhelmed by financial anxieties, take a step back and identify what aspects of the situation are actually within your control. Shift your focus to those areas. Take action where you can make a difference, and accept the things you cannot change with equanimity. What's a financial situation you're facing right now where you feel a lack of control? And what aspects of that situation can you actually control if you focus your energy there? Share your insights in the comments. Question 7. What is the virtuous use of wealth? Our final question shifts our perspective from personal gain to contribution. What is the virtuous use of wealth? Stoicism, while not advocating for poverty, certainly emphasizes the importance of using wealth virtuously. This means using our resources not just for ourselves, but also for the benefit of others and for the greater good. Consider how you can use your financial resources to contribute to your community, to support causes you believe in, to help those in need. This could be through charitable giving, through ethical business practices, or simply through generosity in your daily life. Remember, wealth is indifferent in itself. It's neither good nor bad, but how we use it reflects our character and our values. A Stoic approach to wealth is not about hoarding it or indulging in excess, but about using it wisely and virtuously to live a meaningful and impactful life. What does virtuous use of wealth mean to you? And what are some ways you can incorporate this principle into your own financial life, regardless of your current income level? Share your ideas in the comments. Let's inspire each other to use our resources for good. So, there you have it, the 7 Stoic questions that can transform your finances. Let's quickly recap them. 1. what is truly necessary? 2. Is this action in accordance with virtue? 3. What is the worst that could happen, and can I endure it? 4. Am I driven by external validation or inner peace? 5. What would a wise person do? 6. Am I focusing on what I can control? 7. What is the virtuous use of wealth? I really encourage you to reflect on these questions and apply them to your own financial life. Stoicism isn't just about theory, it's about practical wisdom for everyday living, and these questions are powerful tools for making better, more intentional and more virtuous financial decisions. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and thought-provoking. Don't forget to like this video if you did, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom applied to modern life. And most importantly, keep the conversation going in the comments below. I'm genuinely interested in your thoughts, your experiences, and your insights.